Sorry it takes a while to get up here.
Well, good morning. We're happy to be here with you all. We don't make it to First Baptist Florence a whole lot, but I've been coming here particularly for my whole life, so it's a pleasure to be here and celebrate this time with you all. And it's also just a miracle, as many of you may know, that we can even be here. So we wanted to share a little bit of what our last 2 years have been like. And to give you a little background, Katherine and I got married right after we finished college. We went to Stanford University in Birmingham, Alabama, where we met. And we're married shortly after graduation. Then we moved out to Los Angeles, California to go on kind of a wild adventure, pursuing our dreams. I got into Pepperdine Law School. Katherine was pursuing her career in modeling and acting, and we were just enjoying wonderful horror, newlywed life, but doing it on the beach and just soaking it all in. And very involved in our church. We led our young marrieds group. We had a baby along the way. Just everything was going wonderfully, and could not have asked for more from the Lord in our lives. But on April 21st, 2008, I was about 3 weeks away from graduating from law school, and I went sort of coincidentally back to our apartment and found Katherine had collapsed in our apartment. And we got the ambulance, and she was rushed to the hospital where they determined she had some large amount of bleeding happening in her brain, near her brainstem. She was taken to UCLA hospital. By the grace of God, we had access to that wonderful medical institution. But the doctor who thankfully was on call at the time was a surgeon named Dr. Nestor Gonzalez. And as we look back, we can see how the Lord was bringing everything together just in the most perfect way, because one thing removed, and I think Katherine wouldn't be here today without a doubt. So the doctor was very clear in communicating to me, though, that Katherine would likely not make it through the surgery. The amount of pressure and bleeding and just the location and the situation of this stroke in her brainstem was of the type that most people do not survive, and if they do, they are likely in a vegetative state or paralyzed or things much worse than death, frankly. And so we put it in his hand and the Lord's hand, and 16 hours later, after Katherine's full blood volume had been replaced 5 times, after over half of her cerebellum had been removed and many important cranial nerves had to be sacrificed to save her life, she did survive the surgery. And then by the glory of God, 24 hours later, she was responding to the commands of the nurses by wiggling her fingers and toes, much to all of their complete shock and amazement. I think a lot of them saw the Lord in that ICU room that day, and we were there for 40 more days in the ICU, and from then on went to rehab at UCLA for 2.5 months, and then have been out in a facility where Katherine's been getting daily physical therapy to relearn to walk and to eat and to try to regain her life back inch by inch. So thankfully we're moving on to a new phase of our life, but in this past 2.5 years we've been humbled and honored at your prayers and at your continued support, and want to just share a little bit what God has been teaching us through this experience.
Totally. Could y'all understand me? Okay, good. I think probably several big things to come out of this time, but as you can see, my face is paralyzed on one side and my voice is distorted. And that's only the beginning of actually many, many, many issues, including I can no longer walk normally. I actually didn't walk for almost a year. I didn't eat for 11 months, and the list goes on and on and on. And I guess one thing that the Lord has really impressed on me, and that you all should take comfort in no matter what you're going through as well, is that things could always be worse. And that sounds so kind of rude to say, but it's true. As hard as things are, and I know they're horribly sad things in all of your lives, but it could always be worse. And strangely enough, I can say that when I'm in a really bad position, no matter how bad it is, I can say, I'm not a quadriplegic, I wasn't burned severely, and yes, things are extremely difficult for me, but God is still God, and there is still hope, no matter how difficult things get. Which brings me to the second thing I think God has really impressed on me, which is that God is who he says he is, no matter how bad things are. What is true in the light is true in the dark. And as amazing as that is for me to be able to say, I feel that it's true, no matter how difficult and how painful this whole thing has been, and it has been horrible. I can still say God is wonderful and has done wonderful things in my life, even though right now it's tough. And I don't like to sugarcoat that because it is. It's really bad. But God is still wonderful and good. And He is working in my life every day, as I know He is in yours as well.
And just echoing in what Katherine has mentioned, this story, I think, is a story of hope, and I think everybody in this world today needs that hope, and that hope, and we will give the Lord the glory for it, only comes through Christ. We're not bound to our circumstances because there's no reason why we should be able to have joy in our hearts right now, given our circumstance, why we should be able to have hope that Katherine can recover and have a normal life. There's no real reason and logic that we can have that except for Christ. And so we're here today to tell you, no matter the suffering you're experiencing, which everybody has suffering in their life, maybe not medical, but maybe financial, relational, whatever it may be, that God redeems that, and He can redeem it if you'll trust in Him and what He's doing in your life. And also, no matter where you're at in your life, in your heart, I think some people might think we're kind of superhuman or something, but in reality, we're pretty normal and pretty broken and pretty weak in ourselves. And I think no matter where you are in your life, if you will allow the Lord to work through you and through your circumstance, He'll use you in such a powerful way. And I think He likes using us when we're weak because He's so apparent, He's so strong in our lives when we're in that circumstance. So we want to thank you so much for your prayers.
Wait, we got to have a few prayer requests so you know how to pray for me now.
Yeah, go ahead.
It sounds selfish to say, but we gave Brother Buddy, where are you, Brother Buddy, our prayer card. And the prayer cards will be in the back if you want to take one, but only take one if you really are going to pray for me. But there are a number of huge issues still to pray for. We say sometimes that my issues still have issues, and I'm not kidding. I'm alive, but I'm really bad off, so I need lots of prayer. I don't have any control in my right hand. It's like a noodle, so I can't use it, which caring for a baby, or hopefully future babies, is very difficult without use of one hand. My face is paralyzed. I'll have another surgery in April on that. I have severe double vision and an eye that is turned in, so we have to pray that through more surgeries, I can regain the use of my eye. I have deafness in one ear, numbness in my mouth. I only have half of my taste buds, and on and on and on. So there is still a lot of restoration that needs to happen. So I'd ask you to please pray for complete healing, because I'm kind of torn up right now. So I definitely could use some serious restoration. And I know God can do it. So please take a prayer card and remember us in your prayers, please. And I just have to say thank you, because I know so many of you already have, and we really think that I am here today through the power of prayer. There is no scientific reason I should be here. I mean, basically, a doctor told my father-in-law, Big J, Daddy Wolf, as I call him, his dad, that I will die unless the natural laws are suspended. And we think that's what happened, is that God suspended the natural laws, because my brain was herniating into my spinal cord, so you don't live through that. So we've seen God do miraculous things, and we will continue to pray for more miraculous things. And we ask that you join us as we pray. So thank you all so much. Wonderful, and we just love this church. I think we're done.
We're done. We hope to be back and show you what God's doing next year.
Yeah, we'll give you an update. Thank you
you.
so much.